Good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of the Sunday Rise, brought to you by the Sideline Junkies. Oh, look at that delay. We gonna have to go to the flea market and get some equipment, ain't we?
Indeed, we are. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Sunday Rise, Week 8 in the NFL. It's me, it's the big guy KG, sitting in on the far right, the man, the myth, the legend. He likes to call his women the sweetest taboo. Biggest shotty a dude fan you'll find. The Midnight Rider, the man in the middle, none other than 6'1" out of Maryland, the boss of BJ.
Good morning.
Fellas, how y'all feeling this morning?
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
We got a really, really good show, of course, as always. But before we get into that, we were supposed to do a WrestleManiac show last night. We had a meeting last night about some things, and yesterday was just a day of meetings. So I'm gonna turn it over to the Midnight Rider and have him make the announcement of announcements.
I switched from Progressive to Geico.
That's a good thing. I'm looking to get away from them bastards.
Nah, you drop it, man. This is your thing, man.
Well,
You drop that news.
Because I dropped the news already. It's the boss BJ's turn to drop it.
Nah, I'm gonna let you do it, big guy.
Why y'all keep
passing
passing me?
Nah, I'm gonna let you do it because your excitement with it, and I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you do it. Very special announcement, y'all. I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna let you take it over. We started this journey in 2017 on Zcast, having to log in through Twitter, recording Gold podcast for 45 minutes and ending only to find out it didn't record anything. We can't hear ourselves. Oh my God, it was so fun. But just in my head, just thinking of how we progressed, the Midnight Rider coming along, and what we like, I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I think that we can talk and we can talk sports with the best of them. And I'm not saying that because this is something I helped create. I really feel like that the opinions on this show, we know what we're talking about. I mean, it's we respect each other. We're not on here yelling and screaming. I know that's what the trend is. People yelling and screaming at each other and spitting out their mouth and foaming and stuff, but that's not what we do. We have, great sports conversation. We have a fantastic support as far as our audience, our regulars. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate everybody that's come aboard. And with that being said, the Sideline Junkies, the WrestleManiacs, we're taking a step. We're moving on up. We're in that penthouse apartment in the sky. We're not quite yet, but we're getting there. We can see it. But we on the elevator going up. And with that being said, big guy KG, take it away, baby.
Well, all right. So I'll do it, man. So basically, we've had a combination of two worlds combined to become something more. We are the Sideline Junkies Network. We ended up in a partnership with Clear Productions and the All In Sports family, All In Football family. So going forward, our content will be available on multiple platforms, including platforms provided by the Clear Productions Network. Have to give a special shout out to Leroy Eisen for kind of help facilitating some of this, and then Vogel Hill for putting the plan into action. So last night, the fellas met Vogel. We came to this conclusion to start this partnership and try to get things rolling. I'm sorry, KG. I didn't mean to mess with you.
No, I mean I enjoyed it, man. But it's so exciting. And the thing is, we had to hold on to this and not tell anybody for a week now. So to know that you'll be able to see us, not only hear us on 22 platforms, you'll be able to see us not only on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, but as well as the Clear Productions Network, Roku.
And there's some potential for some other stuff possibly down the road, depending.
Yeah. We got big things lined up, and you'll be able to see these faces on TV. So we got to get TV ready though. That was the theme for yesterday, getting TV ready. I'm like, wait, TV ready. So
you're already ready. All you gotta do is bring your makeup artist.
Right.
See, you're ready. You're ready to go.
And see, that's gonna be a bigger budget because that's gonna. Hey, pretty soon we all gonna be able to. Nah, that's not in my contract. I'm gonna love this. No, that's not in my contract.
It's not my contract.
So, big ups to you fellas. Big ups to all the junkies that are on special assignment. Junie, Jim, Lady C, Delonte. Hey, we moving forward, y'all.
That was the goal, right?
Yep.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, most podcasts, they want to see it happen overnight. So we knew we had to put in the work. And I've seen podcasts start out heavy. And after maybe about 10 episodes, I don't have 1 million views, I quit. I'm not doing it.
We've seen it the last 6 years. We've seen it.
It's a line that Dr. Dre said. I seen them come and I watched them go. And we've done that. We've seen them come and we watched them go. When I say consistently consistent, that's what I mean, because that's what we are.
I'm about to say that you coined that phrase, consistently consistent. And like I said, it is what it is. And like we're moving forward, and it's going to be good with Clear Productions. It's going to be a good thing. I think that partnership and the goal, our goal, our work ethic, plus what we're getting into, it's the sky, baby.
Yes, indeed.
The parachute.
We're late for break.
Yes,
we are.
We are. We didn't got fined and everything else.
Oh man. First up, let's get into this thing so we can get through. College football recap. Biggest news of the day yesterday. Notre Dame wins 58-7 over Pitt. Great showing. Pretty much showing you how to win ball games and things like that. But I don't have anything else, so we can go on. Nah, I'm playing.
Oh, no, what happened? No.
I'm playing. I got a question for you, gentlemen. Speaking of college football, the hit that Shiloh Sanders put on the tight end from UCLA, was that a targeting? Because I think he used his shoulder, didn't lead with his helmet. He just gave him straight Sean Taylor shoulder and knocked him on his ass.
Nah, if he could have gotten, I think it's the angle he hit him at. The helmet still came into the play. He didn't get a shot or a chance to get all shoulder in like he should have. So he started with the right intent, but I think either the tight end made up more ground than he was expecting or whatever. But his helmet did get him under the chin, so he deserves that first half suspension next week.
Yeah, I didn't think it was blatant. But it is what it is. I thought it could have not been called. I think it's just one of them bam football plays, and I think that's the complaint when you have to call those type of plays. Was it intentional? I mean, I sent y'all a clip of a guy getting demolished, mouthpiece, spit, teeth, everything. That's targeting, and I think asking. Because it's really no penalty for the offensive player. You just gotta, as a defensive player, you have to adjust, and I think that could have been not called. I do. I don't think it was like, because you could see he was trying to lead with the shoulder, but the dynamic of a small corner versus a big tight end, the bodies are going to make contact differently. Speed, he's faster than him and get there. Maybe he's anticipating something different. And then I also think that you should take in account that player's history also. If that player has a history of targeting, then that's something we can talk about. But if that player has a history of clean play, I think that should have been let go. And not because I root for Colorado and want to see Deion do well, Coach Prime. I just think any team, if that would have happened, I would have kind of let that slide.
I mean, we got to remember we're all victim to the replay button. And once it got into replay saying hands, from every angle I saw it as it was going to be nothing but a penalty. We had no other options. So that's kind of how I saw it play out.
See, I looked at it in live view. Then I looked at it at the replay. I thought it was a clean hit. Maybe I need to look at it again. Maybe I looked at it with tired eyes, but I need to look at it again. But thought that was a clean hit. I didn't think that was ejection worthy.
So let's talk about Colorado themselves on the face. I mean, it's starting to get to a point where if your team can run the ball and your defensive line can do anything, it becomes hard for this team to move the football and to make plays happen. And you saw this offense struggle again, protecting the quarterback and moving the football. And UCLA, I didn't take UCLA because I didn't think that they had enough offense to make this happen, but obviously they did. So I think BJ's thoughts earlier about this team struggling to get to 6, and I thought they would make it easy to 6. I think BJ's right now winning that argument that we had. I think it's more of a struggle, and it's going to come down probably to the very end for them to get to that 6 number to be bowl eligible.
And you know what, man? Look, how many games did Colorado win last year? One game, right? You're not going to go through and we talked about this in the beginning of the year, beginning of the football season, college football season, and I had these games circled because the UCLA's and they got more horses. And the one thing about college sports, if you don't have the horses, you have to play a beyond perfect game to beat these teams. When you fall behind, you don't have the horses to catch up. You're trying to catch a Corvette, a Z06 Corvette, and a Yugo, and it just 100 is 100, but it's not the same 100 miles an hour. You can always do a little bit more. That Yugo struggling, is falling apart at 100, and the Corvette's chilling, and that's what this is. When Deion get his players, when Coach Brown get his players in, it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit more. You're going to see them win these games. They, get everything together, but for right now, 4-4, 1-4 in the Pac-12. How many games do they have left?
I think they should have 4 left. I think they do 12.
Okay. So they play Oregon State next, 11. That's a loss.
Well, Oregon State just lost last night. Oregon State just lost to Arizona last night.
Yeah. So I think they're going to lose to Oregon State. I think Arizona and Washington State are going to be their only chance for 6. I got them losing to Oregon State, and I got them losing the last game to Utah. So the 2 games in between Arizona and Washington State are their chance for 6. I just don't think they can hang with Oregon State or Utah unless Shedeur comes out and throws for 450 and everything's clicking, and it just hasn't done that for this team. They've always kind of been working through something, and you can't work through something against these teams. These certain teams that are just going to blow you out the water. Like, they have the potential. You saw it with USC and them trying to come back, and almost, if they had a little bit more time, maybe coming back and winning that game. But they can get to 6. They get to 6. It's going to be tough. I got them 2-2 in the last 4.
All right. Anything else?
Of course.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, BJ.
I'm so ready for Maryland season to be over. Okay. They lost to Northwestern yesterday. Northwestern. Are they the Wildcats? What are they?
Yeah, the Wildcats.
They might as well be the Terps now. You might as well call Northwestern the Terps. I mean, Maryland. Look, Maryland. It's just time. It's time for the Tungo Vailoa experiment to be over. It's time to get and the crazy thing is, he had a good game. He had a good game. So as much as I want to put this on him, I think I'm putting it on him because all the losses have been his fault, directly him. But as a whole, it's like this team, and it's something I just said with Colorado. They don't have the horses. That's 3 straight losses. They should have beat Illinois last week, and they should have beat Northwestern. They're going to get demolished by Penn State next week. This is what it is. They might have a game in that first half with Ohio State where that adrenaline is keeping them in the game, and then Penn State is going to hit the gas pedal and leave Maryland in the rearview mirror. I got 2 guaranteed losses coming up: Penn State and Michigan. Here's what it is. So just a disappointing Maryland season. 2-3 in a conference, 5-3 overall. They need one more to be bowl eligible, and unfortunately, a bowl kind of equates a successful season. But if you look behind the curtains, the house is only clean on one side. You look behind them curtains, that thing dirty back there, and they got some work to do.
Embarrassing. I said before the season started that Maryland with a senior quarterback, supposedly a top-notch guy, maybe not in the top 10 of quarterbacks, but a quarterback that is supposed to be functional, should not win less than 9 ball games. This is that time. Unless Mike goes out and gets a transfer to come in with some experience, like a Sam Hartman type of guy or a Michael Penix Jr., then maybe they'll be better. But next year, coming in with an unexperienced quarterback, it's going to be a struggle again. And you're going to be back where you've been before. And that is not good. That's not where you want to be. As a program that grows, this is a 9-win, 10-win season. This isn't the season you lose to Northwestern. You don't lose to Illinois if you want to be considered one of the big boys. But I guess they just like their seat at the kids' table. So if you're comfortable at the kids' table, just banking Big Ten money, then I'm happy for you. But if you ever want to become a contender, let me know, because I'm not seeing it. And I like Mike Locksley. I know a couple of guys that know Mike. And then this isn't an attack on Mike. This is an attack on this program not trying to take steps forward to dominate. This should be our Georgetown. This should be the program that every dude in this city is like, yeah, Maryland. Instead, we got people looking at Virginia Tech. We got Virginia Tech football on 106.7 the radio. That's ridiculous. But I digress. Because I want to talk about good football. The Pac-12. Utah loses to Oregon 35-6. I don't know if that's more about Oregon or if it's more about Utah. And then we said Oregon State lost to Arizona, which is crazy, but that's it. Those 2 scores are important because I think that's going to be things that affect Deion Company going down the stretch. And you already brought up Notre Dame. I guess Sam Hartman had to cut his beard and start letting it grow back so he can get his powers back.
Nephew,
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
All right.
how you doing?
Everybody say hi, okay? Okay.
Ask him when he put his stuff together. I'm trying to come over and play with the Sonic toys.
Uncle KG said, can he come play with Sonic toys with you?
Yes.
You say yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to bring my cars and stuff. So I bring the Hot Wheels track.
Oh man, y'all, you asking for it? I'm letting you know, you asking for it.
Hey, that shit fun, man.
You're like, I want to stop.
No, there is no stopping. We play Hot Wheels until I'm finished.
So can I get a score from Notre Dame?
58-7.
Okay.
I mean, it's Pittsburgh. You put as much stock in that as you want.
Texas had a big one yesterday without you was at quarterback. The kid Murphy played a good ball game. I don't know if there was an Arch Manning sighting or not, because that was all the talk this week. Was Arch going to get a couple of plays? It looks like they blew him out, so he might have got some. Nope, it was all Murphy. So that was interesting in its own right. But that's pretty much it, man. We're gonna see a new listing on the top 5 this Tuesday. I can promise you that.
Let me ask you a question. Looking at this Notre Dame team and the wins they have over ranked opponents, they have 3 games left. They have they beat USC, they beat Duke.
They got 2 losses, KG.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
so they would be, if this was next year, they'd be in good position to be in the top 12 and make the playoff. But this year, with it still being in the top 4, they don't have a chance for that. I think it's gonna be real interesting to see how this committee views Texas. It's gonna be interesting to see how this committee views Michigan and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Ohio State because of the quarterback play isn't the best. It's gonna be key to see how they view Georgia. Georgia came out and played a very good game yesterday that I wasn't expecting without Bowers. So now they showed you that they have the options and the dimensions in their offense to just put up another 43 points without their best player, the tight end kid. So it's gonna be interesting. Tuesday, I think Tuesday is the day that they drop the first college playoff poll. And I think I think it comes on at 8. So we may have to make sure we take out some time to talk about that in the 8 o'clock window or the 8:15 window, depending on how they roll out the format.
Okay. Let's jump over to the NFL. We got a couple games to jump into. The Jaguars visit the Steelers. Jaguars 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 45.5. Start with, the boss BJ, who's sitting at 1-0 this week, with the Bills winning on Thursday. Go to the Midnight Rider after, and I'll finish up.
I'm sorry, you went in and out on me. What are we talking about?
Jacksonville Jags versus Pittsburgh Steelers.
Jacksonville versus Pittsburgh. I have Jacksonville in this game. They're at Pittsburgh. Let's see. Let me see if I can get you some weather. Light rain today. Let's see. Okay, so we have Jacksonville 9th in points at 24.7. Pittsburgh coming in at 27th at 17.2. Right. Here's where the tail of the tape doesn't really tell you about Pittsburgh. They got this guy named TJ Watt that can absolutely he just be like, hey, I got this. They're not gonna move the ball. And that's it's actually what he's doing. And I'm taking Jacksonville because Jacksonville can move the ball. I think they're gonna, I like how Trevor Lawrence is playing and gets the ball out of his hand. He's going to have to get the ball out of his hand. All right. Too sexy for clothes. What the hell? Oh my goodness. But I'm taking Jacksonville. I think TJ Watt has a monster game. It has to be a TJ Watt takeover for Pittsburgh to have a chance. They're just not moving the ball at all. They're below 25th in all offensive categories. 28th in rushing yards per game, 25th in passing. 31st in total yards. They're 30th in yards allowed a game at 383 and a half. But guess what they're second in? Turnover differential +6. See, it's just like this is one team where defense can win their game. Record versus the spread. Jacksonville's 5-1, and Pittsburgh is 2-4. I'm gonna go Jacksonville. Is it 2.5 and 40.5?
Yes, indeed.
Man,
Brought to you by FanDuel, the unofficial line of the Sideline Junkies.
It's only 2.5 for Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's -2.5.
I would have thought that would have been like 6.
It is 6. Technically, think about this. It's normally 3 for the home team for a home game. So you take away the 3 for that, and then you add in the other 3. That's where you get your 6. You're right on the line. You're right.
Okay. Give me the over on the points. I'm kind of torn now because I would have thought, even with the 3 points at home, I thought it would have been a little bit more for Jacksonville. And Vegas been killing me. Like I said, I need to get the inside information on Vegas. I'm going to take Jacksonville in the points right now, but put a pin in that because I might switch to Pittsburgh depending on what insider information I get throughout the show. Because I don't like that 2.5. Even though I know that the 3 is there, I don't like that number.
They're enticing you. They're trying to make you to take, because I think this is a 3-point ball game either way. So the 2.5 makes you take the favorite team because you think Jacksonville will win by 3. That's the bait. They're hoping you take the cheese in this scenario. And you can call me Mickey Mouse. You can call me Mighty Mouse. I'm taking the cheese. So I'm taking Jacksonville, the 2.5. And I'm with you, boss man. I think this goes in the over for sure. And I like the numbers you talked about with TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt is a game changer. And I think there's only a couple guys, and I think we're going to talk about another guy later on if we do with the Cleveland game. But there are guys that can just take over a ball game and almost win the game for their teams themselves. But it's something about Jacksonville when they hit that England part of their schedule, it's like they get right. Like no matter what they do the first 3 or 4 weeks, the second they do those 2 games in England, they come back a whole different ball club. And that's when they hit their gas button and take off.
See, you said Mickey Mouse, Mighty Mouse. Now we're going to call you Monterey Jack. We're going to call you, mustache going to turl up and them eyes going to get big and swirl around. Take the cheese, but I'm not. I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one. Jacksonville's not going to cover. So if Jacksonville's not going to cover, give me the under. But Pittsburgh's winning this game. Pittsburgh's sneaky good. They're not Pittsburgh of old where they're going to blow the doors off and blow you out. But they can win games. They win games that you don't expect them to win. And I think this is a game nobody expects them to win. So we using the headlines these days. But it's a game you don't expect them to win. And Jacksonville, somebody said it. I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was my guy D, who's a huge Jacksonville Jaguars fan. But he said you had to fight through all this stuff with Jacksonville and Shad Khan, and they had to go through Doug Marones. They had to go through the Urban Meyers just to get the Doug Peterson to kind of turn over that new leaf and get back to Jacksonville's winning ways, because Jacksonville does have a tradition of winning. So I think this is when you say this is going to be a good game, but Pittsburgh pulls it out. Give it to me. Pittsburgh 21, Jacksonville 19.
Makes sense.
So next up, a game that you what? I'm checking it. You didn't say anything. You didn't. You sent it to. Don't put it to me. Put it on the chat. And Xavier says Jacksonville 24-17.
That's crazy. He's sitting right there in the room. He's not going to get on camera and then he's going to send a message to your cell phone. What are we doing?
He just woke up. That's all. I didn't think he was gonna say anything, but he just woke up.
It's all good, but what are we doing?
Oh man. Next up, the Cleveland Browns, formerly of the AAFC, visit the Seattle Seahawks, who used to be a part of the AFC, to play a game. Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites. Over under is 38.5. Boss BJ.
All right, let me give y'all some numbers here. Record versus the spread. Cleveland is 4-1. Seattle is 3-2. League rankings. Points per game. 15th is Cleveland, 22.3. 24 points a game for Seattle. That's good for 11th. So Cleveland points allowed at 10th. Total yards offensively, 20th with 319.2. 31st in passing. Second in rushing at 147.5 a game. Yards allowed first, 243. On Seattle side, points allowed per game, they're 12th at 19.7. Total offensive yards, 329. That's good for 16th. Passing yards per game, 223.7. That's good for 13th. Rushing yards per game, 20th, and then yards allowed, 12th. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns today. They're starting the backup quarterback, correct?
Yep, PJ Walker, late night stalker.
I think I'm gonna roll with the Cleveland. I think I'm gonna roll with Cleveland, and I think I'm gonna roll with the under. I don't think Cleveland's defense allows Seattle to get going today. If they can go in there and play their game and control the ball on the ground, I got Cleveland walking out of here. Man, you know, what's the over and under? Because I'm looking on Bleacher.
38.5.
It's 38.5. 38.
And the Seattle minus 4.5.
All right, I'll take the points with Cleveland, and then I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Cleveland and the under.
You actually want Cleveland to win this ball game, right?
Yeah, I think Cleveland's going. I think the defense and the running game is going to be enough to kind of slow down Seattle. If Cleveland can get in there and play their game, I think it's going to be a tough day for Seattle.
Before you jump in that midnight ride, I think we got a fantasy question off of Twitch. Thanos Heisenberg, Derrick Henry against Atlanta, or Pierce against Carolina?
Well, Pierce hasn't been getting much feature or much run in Houston, so I would take Derrick Henry against Atlanta because Tennessee is starting, and they're throwing me off because they're throwing the Houston throwbacks on the day, but Tennessee is starting either what's your boy Malik Willis, or they're starting the kid Will Levis. Either way, that tells me that they're probably only throwing the football 15 to 20 times. So this is going to be a big Derrick Henry featured day. Now we just got to hope that Derrick Henry busts a run. In Houston has not featured Pierce like I thought they would. So that's the only reason I'm going against that today is because I just haven't seen Pierce enough. And of course, the second I say this, with the luck I've had this year, Pierce is going to run for like 175 and 3 touchdowns. But yeah, I take Henry personally.
Hey, we're gonna start charging for that, baby. You hear that? You hear that breakdown?
Man, that was in depth. I like that.
We're gonna start charging. Fantasy Corner, Midnight Rider, Patreon account only.
$8.99, baby.
$8.99.
He's right.
Baby.
Pierce has had 109 touches, but the last couple of weeks they've been heavy with Singletary, from what I've seen. Now, if you got something different and you believe in it, I tell people anytime I give you fantasy advice, I'm gonna tell you what I think, but you got to live with it. So, what do you decide you're gonna ride or die with?
Hey, I love that. All right, Midnight Rider, Browns versus.
So Browns versus Seahawks. I'm gonna go with this. This is a tough matchup because I've mentioned we just talked about T.J. Watt, and I was just going where I said, I think there's only two guys on the defensive side of football that's not named Aaron Donald that changes the course of ball games. Last week, my man Myles Garrett blocks a kick, has 2 strip sacks. I think he sold popcorn, and he punched tickets last weekend, and that's how they got the win. For Cleveland to have 39 points with P.J. Walker as their quarterback is an amazing feat all in its own right. And I put this game on here, and I should have told you put this last because when I think about Seattle, I like their defense. I don't think Cleveland has the receivers to make this to get past these corners for Seattle. So I think I'm gonna take Seattle. I think the Browns cover the 4.5. So Seattle to win, Browns plus 4.5, and under should be the way you write mine out.
Okay. I'm going to take. Who did I take? I got to go back to my picks. And Thanos Heisenberg says Singletary has 15 touches the last 2 games.
I still think Henry's going to get 40 touches at least. Heisenberg, if you can get me because I don't have access to it right now, give me what Carolina is versus the run, and then that might help me make my decision. Give me what Carolina gives up on the run and Atlanta on for the season, and I'll try to look at it that way to help you out.
This game, I'm taking the Browns. Xavier's taking the Seahawks 23-19. I'm taking the Browns because I got to do something to make up some ground. I got to pick some. I can't pick chalk every week because that's killing me.
You're doing it wrong, man. We're week 8.
Who you looking for? Who you looking for as far as rushing defense?
So Carolina's rushing defense and Atlanta's rushing defense.
The Falcons are number 8, allowing 95.3 yards a game, 1 rushing TD allowed.
And then
the Panthers, 31st, 144.3 yards a game. They've allowed 12 rushing touchdowns.
I don't have nothing else to say. I guess I'm wrong. I guess you go Pierce. From everything that Thanos has given me, if he's getting 109 touches, I didn't see his name pop up.
No. That's rushing. That's rushing defense allowed. The Panthers are allowing 144 and giving up 12 rushing TDs.
Right.
All right.
And Atlanta's 8th.
Atlanta's 8th at 95.3 allowed.
Right. Right. So I don't know. I still take Henry in this, and that's just my personal theory is if I'm drafting the team, I think I'm taking Henry in probably the 2nd round towards the end, and I'm taking Pierce somewhere in the 3rd or 4th round. So I'm gonna always go with my higher pick because I believe more in that person early on. That's just my personal belief.
That'd be the more consistent person. It should be. Your high pick should be the more consistent person, the person that's getting that number 1 reps.
Right. And the person you believe in more. Quite simple.
It's funny y'all talk about Carolina's defense because I got Carolina's defense and they did good for me 1 week. I'll never start them again. I just dropped them in fantasy.
But I don't know why I'm giving fantasy advice. I'm terrible. We should go to the man in first place in our league and ask him what does he think. I mean, if he's the king of shit, I mean, we need to know what the king of shit's opinion is.
Well, reigning, defending, current champion. Smart money would say, if Derrick Henry's playing against Atlanta,
8th against the run.
Yeah.
Pierce is playing against Carolina, 31st against the run.
You take Pierce. That's smart money. Numbers don't lie. Because Carolina's
analytics, baby.
Carolina's
them
defense
numbers.
is ass. Let's call it what it is. Carolina as a whole, Carolina hasn't won a game this year. They're ass.
So that means that Thanos Heisenberg got to break the difference. Who's he believe in more? Does he believe in the man? No, hold on. Does he believe in a man that's too sexy for clothes, or is he gonna believe in a man with a million names? That's what we got to figure out.
All right. Oh man, next up is the Bengals versus the 49ers. That is a 4:00 game in San Francisco. The 49ers, 2 straight losses. No, hold on, wait, am I right?
Yeah, 2 straight.
2 straight losses. 4.5 point favorites. Over under 45.5. Boss BJ, I'll give my thoughts last. Boss BJ.
I'm coming. So,
Well, then I got you because I got a problem with this ball game. My problem is with this ball game is we failed Brock Purdy on Monday night. If this league has spotters and we have somebody looking at plays and we're supposed to be taking player safety as a concern and as a priority, this league has failed Brock Purdy. They failed him because they didn't take him out of the ball game on Monday night after they did their version of tush push, and he got obliterated by the Minnesota linebacker. Head-to-head shot. It should have been some kind of penalty, but you can't call penalties off a replay. The dude got blown up. And after that hit, I think he didn't complete a pass, and he threw 2 interceptions. But everybody wants to tell me, oh, he didn't show signs till he got in the airplane. He showed signs. You just didn't want to recognize the signs. You didn't want to see the signs. And then the fact that you cleared him to play this week and you're going to allow him to play on a short week coming off a concussion? What's our focus, man? Stop telling me it's raining when you're actually peeing on me. That's what I need the NFL to stop doing. Stop telling me it's about player safety when it's not. You don't care about these players if you're allowing this man in less than a week's time to come back and play on a Sunday after he played on a Monday. That's not player safety. We can get to the picks now. I'm sorry. That was my soapbox.
Oh, did we lose the big guy? We talking about San Fran and Cincinnati, correct?
Right. If you
All right,
need
so,
the line, I'll get you the line while you got your stats.
No, I got it. So it's 49ers are 4.5 and over under 44.5. So record versus the spread. San Francisco is 4-3 and Cincinnati is 2-4. Let's get to the league rankings. I'll do San Francisco first. Second in points, 28.7. Third in points allowed, 15.6. Seventh in total yards, 364.7. 364.7, yes. Passing yards, 228 a game, that's good for 11th. Rushing yards per game, 136, that's good for 7th. Total yards allowed, 302.9, that's good for 8th. And second in turnover differential. Goodness gracious. Let's go to Cincinnati. 28th in points, 16.7. 17th in points allowed, 21.2. Total yards a game, struggling, 32nd, 256.3. 26 passing, 31st rushing, 69 yards a game. Yards allowed, 27th, and they are 6th in turnover differential. I want to take Cincinnati because I don't think Brock Purdy, if they're started, I don't think he's going to be ready to play. I really don't. I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm a Kyle Shanahan believer and game planning and stuff, and I want to lean that way just because of what they bring with the running game and on defense. I think I'm going to lean that way. But I think I'm going to take the Bengals on the points. I'm going to take the 49ers to win. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover, and I'm going to say over. Over the 44.5, the Bengals to cover that points. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think San Francisco, even though they're at home, I don't think they roll like they normally roll just because I don't think Brock Purdy's 100%.
See, I got myself too worked up now because that annoyed me, man.
Hold on. Let me say computer difficulty, so I'm fixing that, but I had to switch over to the phone. So here's my thing. Number one, I agree with you that they didn't protect Brock Purdy, but this is the same league that didn't protect Tua Tagovailoa when my man was throwing up gang signs after getting hit and couldn't stand up. This is nothing new.
But you would think if we're improving the process, then we would make the process better, and we haven't. And that's where the outrage is. I understand. I'm totally with you, KG, and that's why I'm mad, because I was mad when Tonga Tuivasa played again, because I think he played on a Thursday night after being concussed on a Sunday. There's no way. I have a standing rule. I say this should be a mandatory policy that if a guy leaves a game or is diagnosed with a concussion, he cannot play the following week. He has to sit out at least one game. If player safety is what we're saying it is. But I get the bullshit. They put the field goal back from the 2-yard line to wherever it goes, sits down for a 43-yard field goal because they wanted that play to be exciting. But yet the field goal is one of the places where you get a lot of hits in short distance. But then we changed the kickoff rules and make it easier for us to get touchbacks. Well, never mind. That's going to give you on a whole other tangent. Go ahead. Is it my turn?
No, is it my turn or your turn?
It's my turn because I don't think I did my picks.
Okay.
Now you haven't done your picks yet.
Go ahead.
All right, and I'm doing my picks real quick because I want to get us out of this because I done took us in the wormhole. I'm going to take the Bengals to win. I want the Bengals outright, so my line should be Bengals over to make it simple for anybody keeping records at home. I just don't like the fact that they're putting Purdy in this situation, and I think their offense may struggle because of it. And it's just not a thing. I just don't like this situation on the surface. Go ahead, KG.
Come on off the mute. There you go. All right.
There you go.
Now I'm taking the 49ers in this one because of the 49ers. You still got C-Mac. You still got, Debo's back. You got IU. You got guys. So I'm taking the Niners in this one.
I thought Debo was still out.
I thought he was back. God, I hate conflicting.
Hold on. That's a 4:00 game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say I know I got the early inactives. I don't have the regular inactives.
And Xavier says he's taking the 49ers 30-17. It's something that was said, and I'm just gonna touch on it real lightly, and I'm moving on because we'll talk about it on Tuesday. But you talk about player safety, you talk about mental health, but when people take mental health days away, you let them go and you release them. Dick move by the daggone Detroit Lions, but still, it's good to talk about player safety and mental health and everything until it's time to do something about it, and then you don't do nothing about it. So, it is what it is. Let's be honest about that. But I'm taking the Niners in this one. Moving right along. And the Niners will cover. Moving right along. 49ers versus the Cowboys. I'm sorry. Rams versus the Cowboys. I'm so sorry. I'm discombobulated right about now. And that Tennessee game where they're wearing the throwback jerseys, I'm geeked up for that because I want to see Houston Oilers so bad. But Cowboys at home, 6.5 point favorites, over under is 45.5. Boss BJ.
I'm gonna throw y'all the stats real quick. This one I'm gonna try to do from now on. The Rams versus the spread, 6-1. Cowboys 2-4. So take that how you want to take it. We'll start with the away team. League rankings. 16th in points per game, 22.1 for the Rams. Points allowed, 14th, 20.1. Total yards per game, 6, 365.1. Passing yards, 7th, 253.1. Rushing yards, 15th at 112. And yards allowed per game, 13th at 326. They're 18th in turnover differential at -2. We come over to the home team, the Dallas Cowboys. They are 5th in points per game at 25.7. Yards allowed, 16.7 for 4th. Total yards, 15th, 329.8. Passing yards, 210.2, excuse me. That's good for 20th. They're 10th in rushing at 119.7 yards allowed, 5th, 288.7, and turnover differential +6. Then that's good for second. I want to take the Cowboys. I don't think I am though. They just not consistent enough for me and what they do. I think I'm going to take the Rams in the over today. The Cowboys are 6.5. The over on is 45.5. I'm going with the Rams. I'm going with the Rams today. Give me the Rams, and I think it's going to be over.
KG, go ahead, because I got to look up something.
Boss BJ, you got to understand the trend. Here's the trend. The Cowboys, if they score more points than the other team, they normally win. Here's the thing about the Cowboys. In the month of October, the Cowboys are 99-1 all time. So the Cowboys are going to win this game because they don't flail in the month of October. This is when they win their bread and butter games. You know, the games that don't really mean nothing. So give me the Cowboys plus the 6.5 and give me the over because the Cowboys win this game because they're going to score more points than the LA Rams. And Tony Pollard's going to have a 100-yard game.
Wow. Okay. I think I know where this is coming from. Go ahead.
All jokes aside, I got the Cowboys winning this game, but here's the problem. I want to know why the Cowboys don't have any faith in Tony Pollard all of a sudden. I think we talked about this last week, and he was like, he's in between, 20 to 20, he's good. But once you get inside that red zone, he don't have that thump.
Right.
But that's where what's the dude name? The little guy that they got that was dazzling everybody in preseason.
You're not talking about Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, man, I'm not saying run him in between.
Well, you can't run Gary Coleman in short yardage.
You should do that with Darren Sproles for years.
No, KG.
You did it with Muscle Hamster.
Oh, Jesus. Muscle Hamster was 5'8", and he was ripped. Deuce Vaughn, no. You're not
Deuce
doing
Vaughn's
it.
what, 5'3"?
He 5'5", with light eyes, city high. What are we doing? Excuse the language. Excuse the language. And if you're old enough to catch that reference, good job. But no, man, I mean, they need a guy that's going to thump for him. And I think, God, I can't think of his name. BJ, if you still in the stats, Dallas has another running back. It's like Ola Walday or something like that. That's been getting carries for them. If you can pull his name and just give it to us, I'd appreciate it. Rams Cowboys. I think this is a Sean McVay game. I've been waiting for this game. I've toiled and tussled with the outcome. I actually went yesterday while you guys were meeting with Hill. I went over to the Himalayas, got a yak to go seek light enlightenment about this ball game in particular. So when I came back down the hill, I decided to take the Rams and the points. But I think this game is also going to hit the over. So give me Rams over. When you write it down, KG.
Rams over. Xavier said he's taking the Cowboys in the over. You talking about Luepke?
Nah.
Rookie out of North Dakota State?
Nah, it's another dude.
All right, they're running backs. Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, Hunter.
There it is, Rico Dowdle.
Okay, Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle's the dude that's been kind of their banger, for lack of a better word.
Okay. It's the guy. Okay, yeah, that BJ said it. Rico Dowdle, 28 carries, 107 yards.
Oh, dang.
Short yardage. He not.
But they need somebody, and maybe that's the thing that happens on Tuesday this week, while everybody else is trick or treating and getting snacks. Dallas is trying to get the running back that's going to put some pop in their lineup. I like Pollard, but I always thought Pollard was too light and ass to take this team any further. I think he's a good sprinkle, but he's not the guy that you're gonna rely on to carry the team and put on the back.
Well, what
So
they're
that was my
talking about,
struggle.
they're talking about a reunion with Zeke.
I don't think they'll do that. I think because if they wanted the reunion with Zeke, they would have done that. And I think if Zeke was really into it, they would have done it. I think the reunion or the thing that happens is they find themselves like a guy like a Latavius Murray, like his cousin or somebody, and maybe they bring that in or they trade for somebody that's not being used to help get them over the hump.
All right. Next up, because we got to run through these last couple of games. The Minnesota Vikings coming to the Green Bay Packers. I'm sorry. The Minnesota Vikings facing the Green Bay Packers in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Packers are 1.5 point dogs. Over under 41.5. Boss BJ.
Is Justin Jefferson out?
Yeah. He's on IR. He's been out with a hamstring, but they've been using a combination of Jordan Addison, TJ Hockenson, and company. And I'll check because Hockenson was questionable.
Yeah, I don't see him in the injury report as of right now. From what I got, I don't see him. Let me give you the quick stats real quick. Record versus the spread. The Vikings are 3-4. The Packers are 3-2. Outdoor record, because that has some weight here. The Packers are 2-2 and the Vikings are 2-1. The Vikings stats real quick: 18th in points per game at 21, points allowed 20th at 21.7, yards per game, total yards 354.9. That's good for 11th. They're third in passing yards at 280 a game. They are 30th in rushing at 74.9. 15th in yards allowed per game, 330.3, and they are 28th in the turnover differential, good for -5. The home team, Green Bay Packers, we got 21.7 points per game, good for 17th. They got 22 points allowed per game. This is crazy. Both teams allow more than what they put up. No. I'm tripping. I'm looking at something else. Don't pay attention to me. I'm just immersed in numbers right now. Total yards per game, 289.8, good for 26. Passing yards, 23rd, 199. Rushing yards, 90.8, good for 24th. Yards allowed per game, 338, good for 16th, and they are 18th. And turnover differential at -2. I am going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to take the over in this game. Looking at the weather real quick, 37 and overcast, wind 6. So it's going to be a cool day in Lambeau Field. Don't look like anything's falling. Give me the Vikings. I just think offensively, we don't know which Jordan Love is going to show up. I think the Vikings will do just enough to get out of Lambeau with a win. So I'm going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to take the over the 41.5.
When the season started, I was in love with Love, but I don't know if I love Love enough to make myself vulnerable to Love today. So I'm going to take the Vikings to win this ball game because I'm not out of love with Love, but I'm just not in love with Love at this point right now. I think Minnesota wins this ball game because I think this is their run. I think Minnesota's going to end up in a spot where they go from being 2-4 to like 8-4 because they get some favorable matchups these next couple weeks. And you end up finding yourself where this division comes down to the last 3 weeks of the season, and it's Minnesota and Detroit fighting for supremacy in the NFC North. What's the over under?
Over under is 41.5.
So I think they'll be just under because I think this is going to be a 24-17 ball game. Give me Minnesota. And I think the Packers lose on a late interception by Love in this ball game.
I'm going to take the Vikings in this one because I think that they got something going. In the face of adversity, you got to do something. So give me the Vikings in this one to cover the spread and win outright. Lee Ice checking in. Love hurts.
Here it is.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Something that we may not touch on. The game that you need to watch in the 4:00 hour is that Denver Broncos Kansas City Chiefs game. You need to watch that game in the 4:00 hour. If you're a lover of inclement weather and we get some snow, this might be our only chance at a snow game this year.
Okay.
So that and I'm a lover of a snow game. That's why 90s Buffalo.
I see what you're doing there. I like it. I even love what you're doing here. Go ahead.
What am I doing? You're gonna have to explain it to me. But
We're talking about a game that features a quarterback named Love, but you're just saying that you love games with inclement weather.
I do. That's been a love of mine
For a minute, right?
Yeah, because 90s Buffalo, when you used to see Buffalo play in the snow, and you would see Chicago playing in the snow. This is when we got real winners. That's great football because the wind's blowing, it's cold. It's like throwing a brick when you try to throw the ball, so you got to run. So it's sloppy. It's plodding football. It's good football. It's way the game was meant to be played. So,
hey, if you like it, I love it.
Hey, you got to.
All right.
Next up, Ravens take on the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. The Ravens are 9.5-point favorites after that drubbing they put on Detroit last week. 9.5-point favorites, 45.5 is the over-under. Boss BJ, take it away.
Thank God. Thank God for the mute button, boy. Well, this game isn't going to be sloppy because this is indoors. So, yeah, I know somebody likes it sloppy a little bit, so we ain't going to go there, though.
But, I mean, you got to slow the game down. When the game is slow and it's a sloppy game, man, it's beautiful.
Oh, man. We got to get out of here, man. Look, stats real quick, okay? Record versus the spread. Baltimore's 5-1. Arizona's 4-3. League rankings. Let's go through the Ravens real quick, the visiting team. 10th in points at 24.4. First in points allowed, 13.9 a game. Total yards, 9th, 362.6. Passing yards a game, 16th at 217.6. They're third in rushing at 145 even. They are second in yards allowed per game at 271.7. They are 15th in turnover differential. They are even. The home team, the Cardinals, 18.1 points a game. That's good for 24th. Points allowed per game, 26th at 26. Total yards, 319.9, 19th. Passing yards, 28th at 180.9 a game. They are 6th in rushing, 139 yards allowed per game, 28th at 368.3, and they are 10th in turnover differential at +3. The Baltimore Ravens last week put the league on notice. They grabbed the line by the tail and they just drug it up and down the field the way they wanted to, and then they proceeded to cut the line up and cook it and sit around the table and eat it and watch they made the Lion family sit around while they ate the head of the household. They dismantled the Lions last week. I didn't even think that was going to happen because of what Detroit brings to the table offensively. Is this the wake-up call for the Baltimore Ravens? Do we have to start talking about the Baltimore Ravens as an elite team now? That's the question. That's something they're going to have to prove over the next couple of weeks. Was that just a fluke? Was Detroit tired? But here's one of the games that you have to win. You have to go to Arizona, and you have to come out with red feathers in your mouth when you cough, and you have to destroy them. You have to after the game, y'all divvying up the beak. This is that type of game. You got to go in here and prove a point. It's Baltimore. It was 9.5 and 44.5. I'm gonna say Arizona's gonna cover that 9.5, but I think that we're gonna go. I don't think we're gonna go over the points. I don't think Arizona is going to be able to move the ball on Baltimore. I think it's going to be Baltimore early and often. I think they're going to jump out on them, and I think that it's going to be one of those 30-10, 30-9 type games. I don't really see Arizona doing too much offensively against the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Give me nah. Yeah, I'll take the Ravens in the points. Now that I think about it, I just don't think they move the ball against that defense. So give me the Ravens, the points, and give me the under 45.
Wow. I'm trying to not make any references right now. KG, boy, oh boy, KG. So, Ravens versus Arizona. I think the Ravens played their best game. And I think this is one of those games where the Ravens came out and said, a week before, they came out and told the world that I think they felt disrespected. I think they saw us and they saw other people that prognosticate on a weekly basis, and they didn't show love to the Ravens. We thought that Detroit would walk in there and destroy them. And this is a game now where they have to love prosperity, as I always say. This is when you start harvesting your nuts. If you're a squirrel and you're getting ready for the winter, this is when you got to put these away. Save up for when it gets cold and you can't go outside. I think the Ravens win this ball game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I don't like the 9.5 line because Arizona's been plucky the whole time. They've shown some resolve. They've shown that, I guess, their defense and their resiliency is something to worry about. So give me the Ravens for the win. Give me Arizona with the plus 9.5, and I'll take the over in this ball game because it's not going to be a big over. It's going to be one of those where we just squeak by the over because of a last-second play to clear out the ball game.
Xavier's taking the Ravens 24-17. He's also taking the Packers 28-23. I'm taking the Ravens to cover this because I think this is where the Ravens show their dominance, but they can also be that so Raven. And we can be talking about them supposedly they can be up 17-0 at half and then wind up being down 24-17 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they have to mount a comeback. So it depends on what Ravens team you get, but the Ravens will pull this out. And now that I say that, I'm thinking about the line. Don't think it's the line you really want to mess with. This is one of the ones I don't know if I want to touch, but I got the Ravens winning outright, and I got what's the over under 41.5? What's the over under on this one? This one was 44.5. Give me the under. Give me the under. All right. Last but not least, we got to come home. Got to talk about the Eagles versus Commanders. It's a home game for the Commanders, but it's really going to be taken over by Eagles fans. We talked about it last week, and people on Twitter talking about coming in and starting to chant in the first quarter about Fyron, and I think it's the dumbest thing possible. Why come into your home and start a chant like that to cause more of an uproar? But focusing on this game, Philadelphia is 7-point favorite, over under is 43. Now we know what happened the first game, gentlemen. This game came down to the wire. Washington showed that they could stand in the middle of the ring. We were talking about boxing earlier, and Washington showed that they could stand in the middle of the ring, go toe to toe with the reigning NFC East champs and the reigning NFC champs. do we have that close of a game today where this game either goes into overtime or it comes down to the final horn?
Let me jump in here and give y'all these stats and let you guys take this away real quick. The record versus the spread: the Eagles are 3-4, and the Commanders are 2-5. League rankings for the Eagles: they're fourth in points per game at 26.6. They are 14th in points allowed, 20.1. Total yards a game, they're third at 389.3. Passing yards, ninth, 246.6. Rushing yards, fourth at 142. They're sixth in yards allowed, 290. Turnover differential is 18th, good for -2. The home team, the Commanders, 20th in points per game at 20. Points allowed, 27.1, good for 29th in the league. Total yards, 23rd, 297.9. Passing yards, 211 and 19th. Their rushing yards per game, 86, 26 in the league. Yards allowed per game, 29, 374. And turnover differential is 17th. The big guy, KG, already said it. I think that for whatever reason, we talk about this all the time. We talk about matchups. And I think for whatever reason, the Commanders pose matchup problems for the Eagles. I think a lot of it is they get to see each other twice a year. But I think, the way the Commanders are constructed pose problems to the Eagles. It's just one of them things. It's just, you'll have this. You'll have a team that wins 3 games, and 2 of those games will be against a division foe. They just have their number. Now, I'm not going to say Washington has the Eagles' number, but I am going to take Washington today at home to take the Eagles out. I think it's going to be something where I think Sam Howell, this is going to be something I'm going to try to do from now on. If I can, my 40-year-old brain can remember it, I'm going to throw these big predictions out here. I think Sam Howell throws for over 300 today. I really do. I think this is going to be one of them things where they're going to go back and forth. I'm going to take the over on the 42.5, and I'm going to take Washington to beat the Eagles. I think it's going to be one of those close games. I think Sam is going to lead them down there for a field goal. Give me 27-24 Washington.
All right,
I'm
so
going to turn it over to the Commander boys.
oh boy. So let's just put this out here. Everybody, you don't have to do a Commander song for every week. If it ain't good, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not gonna say no names, but there's some stations out here that do a song every week. Some of them are good, some of them are trash. But I'm not gonna address which ones are trash because I don't want to disrespect any artists. I want to keep this a safe space for all artists. In terms of this ball game, I think no matter how this ball game plays out, it should not have an effect on your actions on October 31st. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. No matter what today's outcome is, it does not hold you to your actions that if you want to make moves, if you want to move people, you still move people no matter what today's outcome is because of depth and because of all those other things. They have Alex Amra, the fullback, up today. And I'm really hoping that in some of these scenarios, because they got Cole Hunter down. So I'm hoping they're thinking that, all right, Hunter's not getting it done in the run game, or we're not using him enough. So let's use somebody that can help us. Let's get this fullback involved. Let's go back to a little bit more I formation so we're not always in the gun and we're not doing a whole bunch of gun runs. And we can feature Brian Robinson in this ball game. We can feature Chris Rodriguez in this ball game. And hopefully featuring those backs and getting something, even if it's 2.5 yards a carry, we can get to a point where we can keep Sam in some manageable situations and we don't have him back there taking his – because I think the Eagles want to get 10. I've heard already on the radio, listening to WIP, they figure they're getting 10 sacks today. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Eagles win. They win by 3. because that's just how this series is gone. The only time they don't win by 3 is if there's like some fluke lateral at the end of the ball game for either team. So I think it's a 3-point ball game. I think the Eagles win, and I think this ball game does go over. Go ahead, KG.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to swap again. Good old computer and it glitches. But I think that I got the Eagles winning this game. I got it being close, but I like being wrong in games like this. Whenever I pick against Washington, I love being wrong. Like I'm sitting at the dinner table with my napkin tucked in my shirt, my hot sauce ready because I want to eat that crow. You know, I want to be wrong about this, but I got to go with smart money, and smart money says pick the Eagles. So I'm taking the Eagles. They're not going to cover the 7, and I'm taking the over. I think this is going to be a classic shootout, but word on the street is, depending on how this game goes, we'll know who's getting shipped out come Tuesday. So, yeah, then there's that elephant in the room. So, I want the Commanders to win in my heart, but being not quite honest, I got to take the Eagles, and it makes me sick to my stomach to say that. So,
but from a roster balance situation, I don't care what happens today. I think we have to get this roster right. So having the 4 elite, quote unquote elite, the fraud 4 as I call them, I don't need them because you're not going to pay one of them. So you might as well go ahead and make your decision now, not pay somebody, get something for it, and that way you can move on. Because it doesn't make sense to keep them throughout the end of the season, no matter what your situation is. Because Casey Toohill and Hyphen Boy Smith Williams have showed you that they are very good replacement level players. So you're not losing anything elite. Will Sweat go somewhere else and have maybe 10 sacks because he already has 4.5? Sure. Who cares? You got to get this team and this roster in the right spot. You're not going to pay him. You're not going to get anything back for him if you lose him, because you got to either extend him or Chase. So that puts one of them in free agency anyway. So say again.
Or on a franchise tag.
But even still, you only franchise tag one.
No,
so
I mean
franchise tag one, and the other one hits the open market. That's what I'm saying.
No, what was said over the summer was you sign one, and then whichever one doesn't get signed gets the franchise tag, and then you start working on a deal, throughout the summer and everything. But you keep them in house, so you keep all your talent.
You can't keep them in house. I don't want to keep them in my house. They're not worth keeping in house. Like I said before, they missed the window to make this the right decision. They didn't. This team is so reactionary that they didn't plan ahead. They end up paying the 2 tackles, and they shouldn't have paid the 2 tackles. You should have moved one of the tackles when you had the opportunity to. And you got to move one of the ends. It's just sheer economics. If you draft Fadarian, whatever his name is, because he don't get in the field. But when you drafted him, that's automatically you're signed to move off from the other tackle. That's what smart teams do. You don't then all of a sudden like, oh, I got to keep him now, and now we got 3 tackles, and you got your middle muddle. We got to be forward thinking and not reactionary, and we can't be like in this thought process of we got to keep talent. You know how many players the Ravens have lost over the last 20 years because they let guys go? They went somewhere, they succeeded. But I don't hear the Ravens fan base being like, oh, we should have kept them. No, because you know what? The Ravens machine moves on. They draft well, they replace them, and they keep it moving. Here, we out here singing quiet love songs and outside of Alfred Morris' house with a radio and the boombox in the rain, talking about baby come back. Hey,
I feel attacked. Don't do that. Baby, come back.
You outside of Rack Post house. All I hear people saying is, well, every time it's time to leave here, it gets better. Outside of Pierce, Ryan Clark, I can't have that argument. Scherf is doing his thing. The Scherf is good, but I'm not paying Scherf. This is another situation. Scherf. You don't pay Scherf
Now I was yelling for my son. You're good. You're good.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I agree with everything. I agree with everything you said, and I said when what's the other tackle name? Not Allen. I can't remember his name. Oh my God.
Payne.
What's the other? Payne. It's no way you should have re-signed him. I don't care what he did. You have to, and I said it on one of the last shows. You have to start preparing for your future, and you trade it, get capital back. Hey, look at him. He finished. Finished strong. You get some capital back. You go address other needs on your team. You cannot have money tied up in one just particular position group. It just doesn't work. You're going to leave yourself open for the rest of the team to be dry in other places. You have to spread the money out evenly. Now you get those TJ Watts that come along. You got to pay them their money, but they're worth it. But other than that, now you have these decisions to make, and analytics come in, and you like, well, do you keep 90 or 99? It seems like 99 can't stay on the field healthy. 90 can. And you start playing those games like, okay, which one is which one is going to work long term? Do you want somebody that can get 15, 16 sacks a year, but might only play half the season next season or not play because they hurt? Or do you want a consistent guy that leads the league in pressures or in top 10 in pressures that can get you about 12 sacks a game, but he plays every game? Go ahead, Midnight Rider.
I'll answer that for you. I'm keeping Young. I'm trading Sweat. And it's because Young has shown me his ceiling. His ceiling is a 10.5, 11 guy. I don't need the rebirth of Ryan Kerrigan. I want the guy that has the potential to be the destroyer and the difference maker. And Chase has shown me at least the potential to do it. And I know John Thompson had the great saying that potential will get you fired. But I think that in this situation, if there's anybody you keep Chase, you take what you can get for Sweat, and you keep building forward from that point out. And even if you lose Chase, you've got enough with your replacement level guys that they stay strict enough to the system. They showed you that they can win, or you can be prosperous without Chase Young in the lineup. But you want him there because of the difference maker. Go ahead.
That's what worries me. When he's out of the lineup and they're still thriving. What worries me is the injuries. Yes, he's a beast on the field. And then the other thing, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes because his name has been out there for trade talk since the beginning of the season. So we don't know what the damage is, if there is any between him and the organization. Then you have the other factor. Does he need to get away from home? You know what I'm saying? That's the other factor. So you have a decision to make here. Me personally, I think you get more bang for your buck if you ship 99 out versus Montez Sweat. And I would ship Chase Young out if you have to. I mean, I think I think you're at a point where you have to because of the money. I ship Chase Young out. I think you can get way more. I think if it's done correctly, this team, if they ship Chase Young out, can be fighting for the NFC East in 2 seasons. I really think so. I think they could get the draft capital and maybe some players back to help some situations and some positions. If it's done right, we've seen it done. We've seen it done. I think he has more value, even with the injury concern with me. I think he has way more value than Montez Sweat. I think if you get Montez Sweat up, you don't get as much back, and you kind of, I don't want to say walking in place. You get some stuff back, but you don't get as much back as you do for Chase Young. So
you rather take more. So here's where my argument. I like what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But my argument becomes, I gotta pay somebody.
Mhm.
And if I gotta pay somebody elite money, I'm gonna pay the guy with the elite talent the money, not the guy that's consistent. I'd rather pay the higher ceiling more money than the guy that's going to be consistent. And maybe that's just me being weird, but that's how I see it. And I think
not weird. No.
And I think the consistency is good enough that even if I can get a second or a third, or a second and a fourth, or whatever you get for Sweat, and however it plays out, I'd rather take that and then just keep moving in the process. And I think another person that might be on the market is Antonio Gibson. You've shown that you don't want to use him.
Absolutely.
So maybe you take this situation because you're not going to resign him. You take this as an opportunity to move on for him. None of we said all this, BJ. I think we need to let KG go, let him loose because
KG, step in here, baby. Come on in.
I'm here, but here's my thing. Number one, I feel attacked. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. But number two, you say this about getting rid of these players and oh, you got to get this capital back. But it's great to get capital back. But if you never use the fucking capital for more talent, what the fuck does it mean? It's like we going around in circles. That's all we're doing. We got rid of Trent, got Peanuts back. The fucking talent that we got, where's it at? What are we doing with it? Overall pick, you pick a generational talent that he was called a generational talent when you picked him. Now you ready to give up on him? You got a guy like Montez Sweat who had quote unquote issues coming out of the draft, but the dude has been nothing but solid. And this is how you repay him? The dude has been nothing but solid the whole time he's been here. He hasn't been in any trouble. He ain't been no knucklehead. He's been everything that you expect for him to be. He's had great games. He's had some good games. I don't think he's had too many bad games, but he's done the damn thing. And this is how you repay him. You just say, fuck it, let's see what we can get for you. But here's the thing. You can get a number 1 overall draft pick, but if you do not scout and get the right player to fit your scheme, in 4 years, we're going to be right in the same damn boat again. Why do we got to keep going through the same over and over shit all the time? I'm sick of that shit, man. Like, I'm listening to y'all talking. Y'all just talking about these guys. Granted, I didn't want to pay Payne. I didn't. Not because I don't like him personally. I was like, we can't afford it. Because we still got to think about Montez. We still got to think about Chase. We got to think about these guys. I didn't think about paying Allen that much. I didn't want to pay these guys that much. I wanted to be more cap friendly. But it seems like cap friendly ain't the thing no more because fucking contracts are ballooned. That's the era we're in. You're going to pay for what you get, but you're going to get less than what you paid for, no matter who you pay. Okay? But yes, I'm upset because we haven't even seen what the fuck this talent can do because we can never get them all together at one time. And then we do get them together at one time. It's mediocre at best. But I think that has a lot to do with coaching more than the skill level of the players. Okay? Now, that whole thing about being outside of Alfred Moore's place, saying, baby, come back. Okay. You trade Sweat, you trade Young. I'm going to be outside. Oh, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you. Ever
Can I
since you
throw?
hey,
Can I throw something? Can I throw something to y'all real quick?
I ain't been doing nothing but
I'm gonna throw something to y'all real quick. Some stats. In 20, Chase Young played 15 games. In 21, he played 9. In 22, he played 3. Montez Sweat, first year 16, second year 16. 21, he played 10. 22, he played 17. This year, he's played all 7. To me, I think it's the same as the Brandon Sheriff situation. I cannot pay somebody that can't, because Brandon Sheriff was one of the top guards in the league when he was here. Top 3, right? Wasn't he top 3?
Top 5. Let's be nice.
Top 5, top 3. I cannot fork that money out because we're talking about business here. We can't, when you're in here, you drafted number 1 overall. But you can't go on feelings. You have to go on business. And business says that the more consistent guy that can stay on the field is Montez Sweat. And
So tell me, while you doing your numbers, look at that list and tell me the number of 10 sack seasons that he's played in the 16, the 16, the 10, the 17.
No 10 sack. No 10 sack seasons. Okay. 34 and a half total sacks for his career. Chase is at where am I at? Where did I go?
I hear KG, but KG, it just doesn't make sense.
Chase is at 14 sacks in his career. So it's just like, and I don't know if this is a Washington problem. It's like you rather have 4 or 5 ESPN sacks where they're on a highlight reel than 9 sacks that nobody knows about that made differences in the game. You rather have the highlight sacks, or you rather have the guy with 9, 10 sacks that can I don't know, man. I can't, because
I just don't want to pay. You're paying top dollar. So right now you're talking about a defensive line that if we paid everybody what they were supposed to be making, you got 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million across 4 defensive linemen.
I don't think Sweat can command that. I don't think if you're sitting at the table, you can't command what TJ Watt can command. You're not near that unless you can give me, unless this season he got 5.5 sacks now. Unless somewhere you get 10 sacks more and you absolutely start wrecking games and taking over, we're not talking about max anything. That's my thing with Montez Sweat. But he's not a max guy.
So even still, so let's say you're paying Montez 18 or 17. You pay him 17. You got 20 plus in the middle, 2 guys each, and then whatever you pay in Chase, if you pay him another 20, that's 80 million in 4 players on your defensive line. You have not addressed your offensive line, which is your biggest weakness. You have not addressed your linebackers. So it's not about the player. It's not about the who. It's about the situation. And if we sit back and look at this as a build, I can't build irresponsibly. I can't build the second deck of my house on a weak frame. And that's what we're doing right now. You gotta find a way to get the structure right. And this is the best time for it, because if I move one, I don't move both. I think I move one, honestly. And I see what else on this roster can move. Maybe I call Kansas City and see if they like Curtis Samuels, because we like De'Ami Brown a little bit. So now you can switch some roles. Maybe those carries you was giving to Curtis Samuel, get them to Dotson, give them to somebody else. So you got to get creative, man. And that's why I like the fact that they brought this Shen guy in, because I think he's more willing to make decisions that this old regime wouldn't make.
It's a lot based off of loyalty.
I don't base nothing off loyalty.
No, that's what I think. A lot of their moves are based off of loyalty and love of players. And Professor Lucky used to always get on me about that. He's like, man, it's great to love players, but when it comes time to be a business, you cannot fucking love them. And that's exactly how he used to tell me. He said, you can't love them. This is the business. You're in the business of winning. If they're not conducive to your winning, they gotta go. And I understand that. And I'm not trying to come from an emotional place. I'm trying to come from, if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You see what I'm saying? And I'm
No, we totally on the same page with you, KG. I just look at it from a standpoint of, again, I'm the guy that traded my own creative player because he held out on a video game.
damn. I ain't
So-
never heard that before.
So there's a difference, all right?
Hey, that's when you insert the Kevin Hart. Damn.
No, but that's where you get to because it's about a standard that you meeting. So I got me back running because I was playing running back. So I got me back a running back that was on my, because back in the day when you played college football, you could create your player, and my running back that I drafted off of college football was just as good. I was like, I'm gonna pay less money and start all over at running back. But that's how I see this. I see every time we make a trade, I see it as a chance to get better and to get you something else. And I just don't think that as much as Sweat has done, I'd rather see Sweat go than Chase. And I think about, for me, I think it's just all about, like I've been saying the whole time, it's about the higher level. Because if I'm paying $21 million, I want that guy that has the potential to be TJ Watt, not the guy that has the potential to be Ryan Kerrigan. And that's no offense to Ryan Kerrigan.
Agreed. Let me say this. We gotta get up out of here first, fellas. We gotta go. It's 12:40. We got 20 minutes before kickoff. So any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Oh damn, I gotta put that roast on.
Wait,
Nah.
with the roast, are you putting carrots and potatoes with it?
Nah, I'm putting potatoes with it, but I'm thinking about boiling the potatoes before I put them into the pan with the roast, because the roast has been sitting out. Like I had it last week, so it's been in the freezer. Let it sit out, thaw out. I got a nice little marinade going with some beef broth. Vegetable broth, and the roast itself with some seasonings on it. And I'm about to chop some slices in it to throw some onions in, and then we're gonna go from there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard that the boss BJ and myself will be at the Midnight Riders crib. Eat the roast. We'll bring the honey butter biscuits.
All right.
But final thoughts, fellas, before we close this out.
I think this is going to be an interesting week. There was a game that Ross threw out there. Did we talk about Ross's game?
I thought we covered everything, but I don't
Not
know.
the Saints and the Colts, we didn't.
All right, let's. I'm gonna run through that real quick. Saints, Colts. I think Minshew has shown you the ability to make this offense explosive, no matter what. And I think that with JT back, hopefully they finally come to the reality and realize that having Zach Moss run the ball is cute, but let's stop being cute and let's get the ball to the serious threat. And if JT doesn't have 100 plus yards running it today, it's a disappointment. And I think what we saw from Derek Carr last week, I think this offense is in trouble. I don't know what the out clause is for the Saints on this, but I think Jameis might be starting in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because that stuff we saw on Thursday night was not pretty.
It's funny you say that about Jonathan Taylor, because I need him to have over 100 yards a day, because I got him and Tony Pollard starting at running backs. So
as long as you're not playing me, I don't care.
Nah, I got you later on in the season. But boss
Real
BJ,
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here, Kyer Elam, the Bills' first round draft pick a couple seasons ago, has been rumored in trade talk, and I think this it absolutely upsets me. And I think the Bills completely failed this kid, because what they're talking about is that he doesn't fit the system, their scheme, and I want to know what the hell they were looking at, because I believe his scouting report coming out, he's a press man corner with speed. So this is a complete fail. You cannot have a first round draft pick, because he's been a healthy scratch. You can't have a first round draft pick that all of a sudden doesn't meet your scheme on the field. It just, you can't do that. That's a failure. Fourth round, fifth round, somebody you're trying to convert that might be on the bubble, great. But for you to draft this guy in the first round and now giving up on the kid, I don't get it. They completely failed this kid. They could have drafted somewhere else, another need. But here's a corner, and the crazy thing is, the Bills are decimated at corner. They've lost a couple of corners, and they're still healthy, scratching this kid. They went to go get Josh Norman from Burger King, told him to take his headset off and come to the
You
practice
rule.
squad. Yeah, it's just mind blowing to me, that failure. You cannot have a failure like that on your first round pick. You just can't. And now with Dawson Knox hurt, I believe that their other first round pick just recently, Kincaid, they've been underusing. Yeah, you draft a first round pick, tight end, he needs to be thrown at 10 times a game, and they haven't been doing that. The Bills have a lot of issues that they're going to have to work through. Lucky for them, it's a halfway point through the season. They got time to work it out, and it's frustrating because you can see it there, but it's just like they don't know what to do. And they got to figure it out, or the Baltimores of the world and the Kansas Cities of the world and the Miamis are going to run through them like X-Lax. That's all I got.
Well, my final thought is today is October 29th. Today is the anniversary of probably the greatest wrestling promo of all time, the Hard Times promo by Dusty Rhodes. Make sure, if you have never seen that, please go look it up on YouTube. Feel inspired. Reach out. Touch my hand. Hard Times. Most definitely, I'll try to get that up on all our social media platforms as soon as I possibly can. But we got to get up out of here, y'all. This has been a great show. I don't want it to end, but it has to. We've come to that point. Big announcements. We did 8 games a day. Like, we went well over. So I can't even say we don't do overtime, because we did some damn overtime. For the Midnight Rider, the man of million names, the boss BJ, the boss man, myself, the big guy KG, I'm too sexy for clothes, baby. We are out of here.
Woo!